5.
The safety is off. There's a round in the chamber. This is Armed Alabama. Sponsored by McCoy Outdoor Company, Mobile's hometown full-line outdoor sporting products and gear store. An interactive talk show discussing self-defense, product reviews, shooting tips, safety, and more. Your calls, comments, and texts welcome at 343-0106. Now, here are your hosts, retired judge and certified NRA instructor Rusty Johnston and certified NRA law enforcement instructor Adam Strange.
All right, welcome to Armed Alabama. So glad you can join us tonight. We come to you every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. At this station. So glad you can join us. I'm Adam Strange. I hold 11 different certifications in firearms training, including NRA law enforcement certification for handgun, shotgun, and patrol rifle. And the other host is Judge Rusty Johnson.
I hold so many certifications, I can't even count that high, Adam Strange. I got a few matters I need to bring up tonight. I want to bring up tonight if you are ready for them.
Absolutely.
And these aren't necessarily things that have come up during the past week. But first of all, I want to remind everybody that our self-defense level 1, that is for beginners to the serious shooters, because we cover the law, just like you would learn, hopefully, in a class or even if you were on a jury, in a jury trial in a self-defense class. That is this Saturday. That is May 7th. This Saturday, May 7th, at Three Brothers Shooting Range over in Stapleton. Now, there are two ways to get there, really, depending on, obviously, if you live in Baldwin County, you'd go another way. But you can go the northern northern I-65 way, exit there at 59 South and go to Stapleton. Or you can go I-10. I would think the problem with I-10 this time of year on a Saturday morning is a lot of condominiums do their rental changes on Saturday, and you get a lot of traffic back up. The directions are on the website, armedalabama.com. You can look there under training and get the directions to that. But we start at 9 a.m. We get through 4:30. We take you through the law for a couple of hours. We take you through gun safety, points of shooting, all that. And then we go out on the range. After we get through the basics, we will teach you how to survive and win a gunfight. Most self-defense shootings last under 5 seconds, involve 3.5 shots. And the winner is the one who is the fastest and gets the most shots off. So that's the way we teach it. We don't teach Olympic pistol shooting. And if you join the class, even if you're a first-time shooter, you'll be just as ready to win that gunfight as anybody else. Got a couple of other matters to talk about, and I think you're ready on one, Adam.
Yeah, if you're interested in joining that class, you can call me at 251-604-3648, or you can email me, adam@armedalabama.com.
Or myself, of course, the judge at armedalabama.com. And questions, of course, call either one of us if you have any questions about it. We have the syllabus up on the website, Armed Alabama, and we try to follow that more or less depending on class size and experience of the class members. So if you have any questions, call us, but look at that syllabus first, and it'll tell you what to bring, sack lunch, how many rounds of ammunition, etc., how to dress, and I think it'll get you ready. I've never had anybody say they didn't like it, and as long as we're teaching, you can always come back and sit through the legal part of the class again, because these are sometimes some difficult matters to absorb. So you can always sit through that class again. No problem with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a great class. We always have a good time doing it. And everybody that comes out of it is just amazed about how much they learn and the amount of information that we provide. So if you're interested in calling in the show tonight, call in or you can text at 343-0106. You can check out Armed Alabama on our Facebook page. We're also on Twitter. And, of course, you can check out our website, armedalabama.com. You can go there and you can find out lots of information about firearms training. The judge has a lot of articles there that he posts. And you can also go there and you can check out our previous shows. So we have all our previous shows listed on our website. So it's a great resource just to kind of go and listen to at your leisure, even if you maybe can't catch the show.
I might want to mention on our YouTube channel and just search Armed Alabama, and it'll give you the channel. I've just put several of Dr. John Lott's videos, and they go to two issues mainly. One is he talks a good bit about gun-free zones and how they attract criminals to gun-free zones. And two, he talks interestingly about campus carry that we've been talking about. And he actually has statistics that show that among concealed carry holders on campus, 22 and under, their rate of either having their permit revoked because of some type of infraction or being arrested for something is less than police officers, which is pretty interesting. And second, he and another researcher have been unable to find one single case of a concealed carry permit holder in the country on campus under 22 being arrested for an alcohol-involved infraction involving a gun. Now, that's the number one issue that's always brought out, alcohol. And he says, please send it to me if you know of one. I can't find one. But anyway, they're hour-long debates. One is actually testimony before the Tennessee legislature. So I think you'd find those interesting. They're in a playlist that's called, I think, Political and Legal, or Legal and Political.
Yeah, I've watched that. There's lots of that video, and there's lots of other videos that are very informative on that YouTube channel. And the judge, he does a very good job of keeping it updated and really good material. Speaking of concealed carries, we have with us tonight Adam Bourne is going to be joining us. He's joining us now in the studio. And Adam, if you don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, thanks, Adam. My name's Adam Bourne. I'm the Civil Division Manager for the Sheriff's Office here in Mobile, and I also serve on the City Council in Chickasaw.
And Adam handles the pistol permits. Alabama's a little different. Everybody in the country calls them concealed carry. Ours are called pistol permits, have been for 100 years. And so get your questions ready to text or call about anything related to the issuance of Alabama now. I can't tell you much about Florida, Mississippi. We'll try, but about Alabama pistol permits. I've said before that I think that the pistol permit division in the sheriff's office here is the most efficient government office I've ever seen. And they're not bending over because I'm a judge. You go in there, if there's one or two people waiting, it's rare. And they will move people in and out very, very quickly.
Well, thank you, Judge. I appreciate that. We work really hard to be very quick and efficient, but also accurate in reading over background checks and that kind of thing. So I really appreciate those comments.
And for anybody that has any complaints, our pistol permit, not just in Mobile but in the state, is the cheapest. It's got to be the cheapest in the country. Many places it's $100 to $300, and you have to have fingerprints. That's more money, and et cetera. So don't complain about our price. Now, I know there are purists that say, why should we have to get anything? I understand that. One thing the pistol permit does is your passport to go to 30-something other states. So you can maybe get along without a permit. Getting around in a car is a problem, but you've got a permit that's reciprocal in a lot of states, and that's wonderful to me.
That's true, Judge. A lot of people come in to get permits if they find that they're traveling a lot for that reason. And then also, y'all are probably more familiar than I am with the new ATF ruling that allows people to purchase firearms by presenting their pistol permits.
Right.
So that's another good benefit of it.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. Remember to call or text in any questions about pistol permits or the procedure you go through to the station here, which is 343-0106. Area code 251. One question I want to ask you, Adam, before we take a break is, have you had any appeals to district court because of the new law?
We have not had any appeals at this point, so we're proud of that. We try to comply with the law as best as possible, and certainly work hard to do that. I understand that there is one county in the state, I believe the northern part of the state, that is going through an appeal, but that's about the only one I've heard of so far.
Well, that's good. It means the law is clear, and then the sheriffs are following the law. Now, get your text or calls ready, and we're going to step into a break, but have them ready, and we'll take it on any firearms-related questions for you. No chemtrail questions tonight. We'll try to get to those in a couple of weeks when we have an expert we're trying to get. We'll see you back on the other side of the break on Armed Alabama.
When buying a vehicle, don't waste your valuable time. David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota is committed to getting you the best deal on a new, used, or leased car. And David will do that without wasting your time. Don't play the back and forth game. See David Parnell today. Palmer's Toyota, 470 Schillinger Road South. That's David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota, 639-0800, extension 168. Don't forget to see David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota, Schillinger Road, just south of Airport. He won't waste your time. If your spine is in a bind, it's time to be aligned. For 20 years, Dr. Justin Foster has been diagnosing and taking care of spinal problems. Misaligned vertebrae can hurt due to a strain or sprain from an accident, or be injured by repeated use and can lead to a pinched nerve if not fixed. Pinched nerves can cause a series of discomforts, including decreased flexibility, headaches, muscle, joint, disc, and nerve pain. Foster Chiropractic of Tillman's Corner, easy to find across from Lowe's off Rangeline. Looking for land, commercial space, or a home to purchase? Or do you have real estate that you would like to sell? Then you need to talk with Matt Moon, Siddick, at RE/MAX Partners, 7221 Grelot Road, Suite B. Matt Moon is dedicated to providing his clients trustworthy real estate expertise and professional, dependable service. Whether buying or selling your primary residence or a second home, or relocating to a new neighborhood, Matt Moon can help make your home ownership dreams come true. Email Mamoon at remax.net. That's MAMUN at remax.net.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
All right, Adam Bourne is with us from the Sheriff's Department, head of the Civil Division, and part of the Civil Division is issuance of pistol permits. In 2003, of course, we went to a shall issue pistol permit. And Adam, since then, did you see an increase in pistol permit applications?
We have. We've seen a dramatic increase in permit applications really consistently over the past few years. Unfortunately, one thing that happens is anytime there's a national tragedy, some kind of school shooting or an incident like that, we'll notice that there's a large increase at those times as well. But definitely when that law was being debated and was changed, there was a lot of media attention paid to that. And so we had a steady stream of people coming in. Last year, we issued about 48,000 permits in Mobile County. And I think at last count, we have about 51,000 active permits as of this week.
You know, the silly thing about it is, not that it's scientific, but we did a poll. I probably broke it down into too many categories, but I was trying to I have a theory that most people don't ever carry their gun with them, maybe on a trip. But I think the vast majority was they carried their pistol less than 10% of the time. And I think people just want him just in case. And I think a lot of the times it's just because they don't know the law, or they don't know how to use it in a gunfight. That's why we try to get people, these classes. Believe me, some of them, most of the time they're fun, but sometimes near the end of the day I'm thinking, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
But I feel like we're at least doing some good, and obviously y'all are. But I think we may have a caller here, and we do, and I just can't see. It is David. Let's take David's call.
David, thank you for joining us on Armed Alabama.
You're more than welcome. Question for you.
Go ahead.
I am a truck driver.
Right.
I work for an Alabama company, and I drive only in Alabama.
All right.
I have a pistol permit, and by the way, it was excellent service down there. Got it from Mobile.
Good.
Fast, quick, efficient. Now that I've blowed you up, made you real happy.
Thank you, David.
I don't go interstate.
Right.
And interstate, according to federal transportation, is going from one state to another. I only drive in Alabama.
Can I ask you a question? Have you heard that some reason that there's some regulation prohibiting you from carrying your truck in interstate commerce?
The transportation authority says that Class A CDL drivers are prohibited from having firearms in commercial vehicles.
Wait, I would like you to show, text that to us or email it to us, because unless that's passed in the last 60 days, that is a myth. And what happens is a lot of the companies will promulgate that myth because they don't want their drivers carrying a gun, but that is not true.
Very good. That answered that. I appreciate it very much.
Is that all you wanted?
Buddy, that is it.
Okay.
Right. Thank you so much,
great.
David.
I didn't know I was a mind reader. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, David. Thank you for calling in to Armed Alabama. We have another call. Tricia, go ahead. Welcome to Armed Alabama.
Thank you. I just wanted to compliment the Sheriff's Department on their renewal process for the concealed carry permit. I just recently renewed mine and did it all online from my smartphone.
Wow.
And exactly, wow is correct.
I can hardly hit the keys on my phone.
I'm sorry?
I can hardly hit the keys correctly on my phone.
Well, people don't have a lot of time to go and visit and sit and wait. So I would just like to thank the Sheriff's Department for bringing that process online, so I didn't have to miss work. I didn't have to take a special trip downtown that wasn't needed. So thanks.
All right, great. Adam, any comments on that?
Oh, yeah, appreciate that, Tricia. We're pretty proud of that. We started that about 3 years ago with online renewals, and we usually have about 100 a week or so that use that feature. We certainly hope to have more, because for every person that uses an online renewal, that's one less person that has to wait in line at the sheriff's office, although our line is typically very short. So we're proud of it. We believe we're the only county in Alabama that does that at this point. So we've had a few counties call us and inquire about how we did it, and we're hoping to see it spread across the state.
Now, what is it? You have to go down every 5 years and have your photo taken?
That's right. Yeah, that's the only thing that will hinder someone from renewing online, is we do require a new picture every 5 years to keep that current.
The only problem I have with y'all is something's wrong with your camera. I got the picture, and I appeared to have gray hair in it. So I think there's an overexposure issue.
That's
Maybe
right.
You fixed it by now. Glamour shot. Yeah, I needed a glamour shot photograph. Adam, you had a question you wanted to raise?
No, Adam, can you talk about the background checks in detail for renewals or new issuances?
Oh, yeah, I'd be glad to. We do an electronic background check on every person who obtains a new permit and also every person who renews their permit. And that consists of an NCIC check as well as a NICS check, as stated in Alabama law at this point. For the most part, both systems generate very similar hits. The NICS system, which is what gun dealers typically use, is a little bit better about capturing mental health issues such as commitments, whereas NCIC rarely has that information. The good news is the state has developed a system called a messenger system that sheriff's offices can use for this purpose, and it's very quick. So typically we're able to do a fairly comprehensive background check in just a matter of minutes. The state law does allow 30 days to process a permit, but in most cases we do it within 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, $20 in 20 minutes and you're done when you're there in the office.
And on the mental commitments, I was just refreshing myself. What that means is there are a number of them, but involuntary commitments to it where a judge has said you've got to go to the mental hospital. Involuntary outpatient commitments, that's where a judge says you're under my orders and you have to go to the mental health provider. Where you have pled not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, where you've been adjudicated in a military tribunal. I can't think of the words they call it. And there are a number of them like that. But obviously, if you go to a psychologist and say I'm depressed or I'm anxious, that's voluntary, right? That's
right. Yeah, there's a distinction between the two, and just involuntary commitments appear on our background check. Occasionally, you might have someone that self-discloses an issue, but certainly there are a lot of people in the county that might take a medication or something, and that does not prohibit that person from owning a gun if they've never been through a judicial process.
Right.
Okay, we have another caller. The next caller we have is Ken. Ken, welcome to Armed Alabama. What's your question?
Guys. Thanks for having me. I just have a question on your. I actually have one question and one comment. What does it take to not be able to get a pistol permit in the state of Alabama?
Well, you're in luck. We have Adam Bourne here tonight to discuss that very issue.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Well, if one of the women didn't like you, that's the first way not to get it.
No, that's exactly my point.
No,
because
that's not a legal issue.
I don't have any. Never been arrested. Never had a problem. The lady asked me if I'd ever been arrested after I'd given my $20 and spent my 20 minutes. I told her, no, ma'am, I have not been arrested, and I have not. And she asked me the last time that I had gotten a speeding ticket, and I said, well, I'm sure I've had one, but it's been a long time. I mean, I'm a 34-year-old. I have 2 kids. I've never had any problems. I own my own company. And she sent me back to the other end of the building to get my $20, and I left.
Okay. When was that, if you don't mind my asking?
I would say it's probably 3 years ago now.
Okay.
You're getting close. Was it November of 13 that went into effect?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure about the exact.
If it was before November of 13, that could be everything. I'm not doubting what you're saying at all. Try it again.
She basically said that I just lied to her because I'd been arrested because I had a speeding ticket. And I haven't had a speeding ticket since college. So I said, excuse me, I'm not understanding. And she said, when you get a speeding ticket, you're being arrested. And you're posting your own
technically,
bond.
that is most people's understanding of it. But do it again. And if you get denied, there's an appeals process to district court. And I think it was probably before the shall issue permits were instituted. Because
but I just don't understand why I would be. I mean, I don't have any. I've read up on it. I've been a gun. Not a gun carrying, but I've been a hunter and
right.
outdoorsman my whole life, and kind of read up on it. Not domestic violence, no. Any of the
right.
stuff that felony, no. So I just wasn't sure exactly on that. But the other thing is I wanted to talk about was that I also own a trucking company.
Yeah,
and the state trooper. Now, 2 years ago, I asked a direct question to him, and he told me that it was against the law for a commercial CDL driver to have a firearm in his truck. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't carry one because I don't have a pistol permit. But, that's the reason I tell my drivers that.
But all I ask is somebody just find the law because not only me,
yes,
but
sir, I agree.
Yeah,
I think you should be able to have one because I don't know.
It's not out
probably
there.
Not that many over the road drivers, but you can get yourself in a pretty bad spot, not knowing where you're at.
Yeah, if you find it, send it to me because it's not out there.
Okay.
That's a myth. But I want you to apply again, and if you're turned down, file an appeal. You can do it yourself because I think it was probably under the prior law.
Yeah, because the law is different now. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, we'd certainly be glad to look into that. I hate that you had a negative experience there. One challenge we do have in the pistol permit office and in any permit office in the state is that we rely on the system that's provided to us by the state for NCIC and NICS background checks. And there are occasions where something might pop up that's inaccurate or incomplete. So typically what we do is we ask the applicant in those situations to run over to the courthouse and grab a disposition of their case. And if the disposition is satisfactory, or sometimes we get a letter from the clerk, a form letter that the clerk will write that just says that there are no such records on file at that court.
Let's pick it up after the break, and maybe we can continue with that issue on Armed Alabama, where we talk about chemtrails once a year.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority, and Dr. Bill Williams.
Well, skies will become partly cloudy tonight. Look for temperatures in the upper 50s at daybreak. For Wednesday, sunny and pleasant with afternoon temperatures in the upper 70s. And the outlook for Thursday, sunny with highs in the mid-70s. This is meteorologist Dr. Boo Williams for FM Talk 106.5.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority.
The impact of Airbus is stretching across the bay into Foley in Baldwin County. Hello, everyone. I'm Mel Showers, News 5 for 106.5. A major expansion was announced today at UTC Aerospace in Foley. It means 260 high-paying new jobs for the plant. The new facility will focus on engine integration, compulsion integration for Airbus, along with some assembly work. The average salary for those 260 new jobs is $60,000 a year. Two local pain physicians back in court today to answer the newest and most serious charges against them, that their painkiller prescriptions led to the deaths of 4 patients. Doctors Zulu Ruan and Patrick Couch pleaded not guilty to the new charges. All that rain we had last night caused some real problems, especially in Spanish Fort at Thompson Caterpillar, where the roof collapsed. I'm Mel Showers for 106.5.
Longleaf pine is the South's original pine tree, towering over all others. Vast clear-cutting logging operations in the first half of the last century destroyed these beautiful longleaf forests, some well over 100 years old. Their wood sent to New England, New York, and Europe. Many Southerners have no memory of the magnificent longleaf forests that covered the South. The America's Longleaf Restoration Initiative is a concerted effort to restore and conserve longleaf pine forests. The best part is, it's working. For more info, visit americaslongleaf.org.
Logan's Roadhouse-ism number 11. You can never have enough slow-cooked meat. So if you love the slow and smoked platter at Logan's Roadhouse, then listen up. Logan's has 2 all-new slow and smoked sandwiches, the kind that require some muscle to pick up off the plate, like the pork trifecta, packed with pulled pork, brisket sausage, and crispy bacon. It's a job for 2 hands. So bring them both and grab 2 new sandwiches at Logan's Roadhouse, the right way to Roadhouse.
Looking for land, commercial space, or a home to purchase? Or do you have real estate that you would like to sell? Then you need to talk with Mamoon Siddiq at RE/MAX Partners, 7221 Grelot Road, Suite B. Mamoon is dedicated to providing his clients trustworthy real estate expertise and professional, dependable service. Whether buying or selling your primary residence or a second home, or relocating to a new neighborhood, Mamoon can help make your home ownership dreams come true. Email Mamoon at remax.net. That's MAMUN at remax.net.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
All right. Welcome back to Armed Alabama with Judge Rusty Johnson and Adam Strange. You know, we're talking about concealed carry here, Judge. McCoy Outdoors, they have lots of gear and firearms and a large selection of all kinds of accessories, including handguns, ammunition, holsters, you name it, they got it. If they don't have it, they can order it. So check them out. Visit McCoy Outdoors. Knowledgeable staff west of I-65 on Spring Hill. And that's McCoy Outdoors.
And they have a good website, too. It is mccoyoutdoor.com. And you can do your shopping there online, pick it up, or just look around and see what they've got. They've got a Facebook site, too. Just on Facebook, just search for McCoy Outdoor and like their Facebook. You can find anything, including, I understand, the phase plasma rifle in the 40-watt range, that they have them there. I don't know about the 60-watt, but they do have the 40.
All right, if you're just now joining us, please call in at 251-343-0106. We have in the studio with us Adam Bourne from the Sheriff's Office Pistol Permit. And Adam is discussing with us and giving us a lot of detail on what it takes to renew your permit or to go in and get your first concealed carry or pistol permit. Adam, is there been a large uptick in new pistol permits?
There has been pretty consistently. I've been at the Sheriff's Office for almost 4 years now, and every year that I've been there, there's been a significant increase in permits. And I'm told that was even true in the years before I arrived at the Sheriff's Office. There's been, frankly, a sharp correlation with the beginning of the Obama administration. Ever since then, there's been a a higher percentage each year of gun permits. So now we're up to about 51,000 active permits in Mobile County, which the other day I was just kind of tinkering around with some numbers, and I came up with that's roughly 15% of the adult population in Mobile County. One other interesting number I came across when I was sort of tinkering with that is that the national average is about 5%. So
wow.
Mobile County is a well-armed county compared to most counties.
He's the best gun salesman we could have ever hoped for. Let me mention, we've got a text that I want to get to, but we have the results of last week's poll. That is, and our current poll is up, but let me give you the results of last week's poll. You go to armedalabama.com, and we always have a poll up for you. Last week's poll was regarding self-defense of the home. I want to read the whole thing, but it was, do you favor loosening up on the restrictions and making it easier to defend yourself in your home? Do you believe the law should allow you to use deadly force to protect or defend your premises without requiring more than just threats of arson? In other words, do you think you ought to be allowed to use deadly force to protect your home when you're in your home, rather than just right now you have to perceive that they're going to use someone breaking in is going to use force, or they're going to commit arson, etc. 100% said yes. This week's poll is, let's see, Alabama House is considering Senate Bill 14, which would allow anyone who is legally authorized to carry a gun to carry it loaded in his or her car, but not carry it in areas where a permit would be required, not leaving your car, in other words. Currently, 23 states allow this, including every state in the South except Alabama and North Carolina. Now, with this background in mind, do you favor or oppose Senate Bill 14, which allows, as I call it, car carry without a pistol permit? It's kind of interesting because we're talking about favor or do not favor. That's on armedalabama.com, our poll, where you can listen to this very show online, live as it is, or the shows are archived there for your convenience. We've also got a text message I think I can help them with. The text question is, I pled or I entered a good there we go, a prima facie case to, you look at it a little closer, Adam, what is it? And I'll tell y'all what that is. I entered into is it the top one there? Question. All right. Question on permits. I have no conviction, but I entered into a menacing charge with a prima facie case. When could I renew my permit? Now, I'm assuming, and Adam, you're a lawyer and you've handled lots of different cases in court. I'm assuming they entered a prima facie case, agreed to go on good behavior for some period of time, with the case being null prost if they didn't commit any offenses and pay their court costs. If that's the question, then they never had a conviction entered, so therefore, all things being equal, if that's the only thing on their record, they'd be entitled to get a permit when that period of time ran. Am I correct?
That's right. What would end up happening is when you apply for your renewal, it's very likely that charge will pop up on NCIC and NICS. Now, the bad thing about the messenger system that the state provides to sheriff's offices is that it very rarely tells us the outcome of the case. So the only thing you would have to do is you would have to present us with the outcome of that case in writing.
A certified copy of the case action summary or something like that.
Exactly, Judge. Just showing the disposition of the case. And once you do that, you shouldn't have a problem, assuming that's the only thing that's outstanding on your record.
All right.
All right. We have quite a few calls lined up here. We'll go ahead and take our next caller, Ricky. Ricky, welcome to Armed Alabama.
Hey, man. Kind of a quick, easy question, I guess. But why is it that I have to buy a permit at all to carry a pistol?
Ricky, I'll try to address it. I'm not saying I agree with this, but this is the logic. I'm trying to get the volume up in my ears a little bit. Every constitutional right is not unlimited. For instance, if under the First Amendment, if I want to have a demonstration, let's say downtown, I have to buy a permit to do that. I can't, on freedom of speech, I can't put up a pornographic billboard, for instance. So all rights have limitations, and the limitation has always been on concealed carry. There has never been a limitation on this in this state on open carry. So because sneaky people, criminals, carry their weapons concealed, and so it's been upheld as a reasonable limitation on our version of the Second Amendment, not the federal, because the federal only applied to Alabama 4 or 5 years ago. But since you were doing something unusual by carrying a gun concealed, they figured, well, that's reasonable to have to force someone to buy a permit to carry it concealed. Otherwise, why not carry it openly?
I would think you're doing more unusual by carrying it open myself.
Well, remember
Nowadays,
history now. We're going back
it's
100
more
years,
common to
150
carry it.
years when this started. So,
But anyway, you answered my question, man. Thanks.
yeah, sure.
All right, thank you, Ricky. We have another caller, Randy. Randy, welcome to Armed Alabama. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, my question is, I'm a resident of Mississippi, have been for over 20 years, but I work in Alabama. I open and close business in Alabama. Am I entitled to get a permit in Alabama, being as how that's where I spend most of my time?
You don't need to, Randy. If you are a concealed carry pistol permit holder of Mississippi, then you have reciprocity within Alabama, so you don't need to get a pistol permit for Alabama.
So I just need my Mississippi permit.
Absolutely.
That's
and
right.
It's totally valid in Alabama.
It is.
Should I
Yes,
get
sir.
stopped or anything? I just, when they ask for my license, I hand them my permit.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. If I was stopped for speeding, and my gun was not in plain view, personally, I wouldn't hand him my pistol permit. The law here does not require you to do that. But
well, most officers, when they stop you for any infraction, they ask if do you have a firearm in your vehicle.
Now, I've never had anybody ask me that. I don't get stopped a lot, and then tracing your tag back to the I don't know if there's any way they can even do that, Adam, but if they could, considering that our poll showed 10% of the people, 100% of the people carried their gun 10% of the time, that would be pretty futile. If somebody asks you, I'm not going to lie to them, but I found most officers are not that inquisitive. But there are some states, and if you go to that state, you are bound by the law of that state. So make sure you know the law of that state. But they're not. They're in the vast minority that require you to tell the officer that you have a firearm in the car if you have a permit.
Okay.
But if it's visible, if it's out sitting on the seat, that's a different issue.
Sir?
If it's out visible sitting on your seat, for instance, that's a different issue. Tell him, obviously.
Yeah, because I know some people that have holsters mounted to underneath the dash, mounted on the console, or so forth like that. So,
sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, mine's always holstered, and I keep it under my seat.
Yep.
But the butt of it still sticks out a little bit. I mean, it can still be seen.
Well, I would do it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, if it's too hard to get to when you need it, you're in trouble.
You got it. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Randy. Adam, you have any comments on that or anything you want to add to it? We have a minute left.
Oh, yeah, he made a good point. Alabama recognizes permits from all 50 states now, so there's no reason to get one here in Mobile if you live in Mississippi and come over here. As to whether the officer can tell about the permit by looking at your tag, there's no system like that in place in Alabama at this point. We do have a dispatch feature where local law enforcement agencies can call our dispatch office to determine whether someone's permit is valid or not, if they so choose to do that.
And that's if they have your license.
Exactly.
Because, sometimes I'm in my wife's car or somebody, the tag would be hard to match up.
That's right. It's best practice to carry your permit for sure. Occasionally you might have a situation where someone has misplaced it or left it at home, so the officer does have the capability of calling our dispatch office to determine whether the person has an active permit prior to any kind of action like an arrest or anything like that.
All right, we need to step into a break, and we'll be back on the other side with more of your text and questions here on Armed Alabama.
When buying a vehicle, don't waste your valuable time. David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota is committed to getting you the best deal on a new, used, or leased car. And David will do that without wasting your time. Don't play the back and forth game. See David Parnell today. Palmer's Toyota, 470 Schillinger Road South. That's David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota, 639-0800, extension 168. Don't forget to see David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota, Schillinger Road, just south of Airport. He won't waste your time. Longleaf pine is the South's original pine tree, towering over all others. Vast clear-cutting logging operations in the first half of the last century destroyed these beautiful longleaf forests, some well over 100 years old. Their wood sent to New England, New York, and Europe. Many Southerners have no memory of the magnificent longleaf forests that covered the South. The America's Longleaf Restoration Initiative is a concerted effort to restore and conserve longleaf pine forests. The best part is, it's working. For more info, visit americaslongleaf.org.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
Welcome back to Armed Alabama. Want to remind you that we have a self-defense pistol class this Saturday, May 7th, at Three Brothers Range. Please call at 251-604-3648 for more details. You can check out our website, armedalabama.com, or our Facebook page or Twitter. If you're wanting more details about that class or sign up, just give me a call, 604-3648. And we are looking forward to this class. We have in the studio with us Adam Bourne. We want to thank you so much for joining us and answering a lot of different questions you had on different listeners have for the concealed carry permit process for Mobile County. So thank you, Adam, for joining us. Anything else you had to say?
Tell us where you're located physically, and if somebody has questions, I know you have a website.
Sure. Our main sheriff's office is 510 South Royal Street. It's right across from Metro Jail that you can see from the interstate there. It can be a little tricky to get to if you've never been there before. You just kind of go down South Water Street there to get there. If you're going by I-10, I believe the exit is the Canal Street exit, if I'm not mistaken. I rarely come to it from that direction, but that's probably the easiest way for most people to find us as far as location. We have a pretty good website, mobileso.com. It has some information there about renewing online, has some information about the guidelines for obtaining a pistol permit, and also a copy of the pistol permit application if you'd like to fill it out before you come to the office for the first time. You do have to come to the office to apply for the first time, but after that you can renew online or by mail up to 5 years, and then we require a new photograph every 5 years.
And people do age.
That's true. People change over the course of that time, so that's why we have that requirement. And, of course, now under Alabama law, you can obtain a permit that lasts for 5 years. It's $20 per year, up to 5 years at $100. And so we're having more and more people that opt for that choice. And it saves them the time of coming down to the office to renew, or to saves them the postage to renew that by mail.
And I opted for that myself. I renewed and got the 5-year permit, so it's very convenient.
Well, I did that myself, and I know a lot of people, $100 is a lot of money, but if you were in some other states, you couldn't get that for even 1 year. And it's good for y'all because somebody renewing it once a year, it just takes less time over there. So I think it's a real good thing.
It is. It's very efficient. It helps save time for everybody involved. And so we're seeing more and more people take advantage of that. Like the judge said, for many, many people, $100 is a lot of money to spend at one time, but it does save you some time and effort, over the course of several years.
I'm looking at the map that when you went to your site, the map was on the side, and it looks like you exit there at Canal Street, and then you swing around to Canal to, I guess we're going the right, there's some one-way streets there. I'm not sure. It's South Royal Street is where you would go to, take a right there and go down about 4 blocks. And it's near Metro Jail, where hopefully most people have seen but not been to. And it's right near Metro Jail, those kind of Spanish-looking buildings. There are a couple of them. Nice sign that says pistol permits, as I recall, and always parking there.
That's right. Yeah, we have a lot of parking. Most of the time you're in and out very quickly. The rare times when there's a wait tends to be in times of national tragedy with some sort of school shooting or something. In those cases, there can be somewhat of a wait, but even then we try to get people out within 20, 25 minutes or so.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I enjoyed being here.
We got a quick call, Adam. Let's try to get it in. We got, hello, you're on Armed Alabama.
Hi, how you guys doing tonight?
Fine.
My question is, I'm a security guard, unarmed, considered a rover. I've gone from condo to condo. They say that I'm not allowed to carry a gun, but I have a concealed weapon license. So am I allowed to carry or not?
Well, under the licensing scheme for some security guards that you have to be trained to handle a weapon. Now, anybody can just be a guard, but the problem is, I guess, does your employer say you can't carry a weapon? That's probably the issue.
Kind of one of those things, if I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, there's your problem. Legally, you can, but, if your employer is putting the prohibition down on you, is it worth your job or not to do that and violate his policy? It's like the pizza drivers that are going into real dangerous neighborhoods. They get robbed all the time. I mean, is it worth their life to deliver a pizza? I'd carry if I was them. I think it's disgraceful that these places fire them when they, shoot someone in self-defense. So you're kind of in that category. So it's a personal decision. As Jefferson said, you've got to choose between nature's God and some regulation of your company.
Right, because a lot of times I'm what they consider the rover. I get called out for noise complaints or possible domestic violence, and I don't feel comfortable not going up there armed.
Take some pepper spray too, a good police grade pepper spray, so you'll have an option other than shooting someone. Right. You certainly don't want to get in a fist fight with them. But I'm sure you encounter a lot of situations where less than lethal force is probably needed, and then you won't have to go to that final option there.
Right. I can usually talk my way through it.
Yeah, and that's the first on the continuum of force, talking. And most of the time that works. But have something else just so you won't have to go to that final solution.
Okay, so the state really, if I've got CCW, the state placement can't really say a whole lot.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Thank you, Jim. So that was a pretty good question there.
This past week we had an incident. It could have been our caller where we had a caller that asked could they use deadly force if someone was in their garage rooting around. Now, the man didn't use deadly force, but there was a thief in his garage, and this is how a lot of guns are used. He held the thief at gunpoint and called the police or the sheriff's deputies, and the situation was ended peacefully, and that's what anti-gun people don't understand. Most use of guns are in that way, where the criminal either runs away or he's held. They don't result in a shooting. And it was, I think, in West Mobile somewhere. But it was just a description somebody called in last week. What could I do? Thief in the garage.
Yeah, and you mentioned pepper spray to the gentleman that called. McCoy Outdoors has a really good
He has
pepper
the kind
spray
that
gun.
I actually show in class. It's the Mace pepper spray gun. And one of the reasons I like it is it has water canisters you can put in it. It looks like a flare gun that breaks open. You can test it with your water canisters to see how accurately it shoots. It'll shoot 20 feet, and you've probably got 6 or 7 3-second blasts with it, and you carry it in a holster just like a gun. The only complaint I've ever heard is someone saying, well, somebody might mistake it for a gun and shoot you. Well, if you're in that situation, you're already in a terrible situation. So, but it gives you another option. So if you do run into somebody who's mentally disturbed or drunk or something like that, you don't have to kill them. But you gotta be thinking. Use of force continuum, something unfortunately they did not have and do not apparently have at South Alabama Campus Police. They have the deadly force option and the fight 'em option. But command force of your voice is the first option, which works most of the time, fortunately.
All right, so you can get that pepper spray we talked about at McCoy.
You can mace
outdoors.
pepper spray gun.
Right, and there are a show sponsor, and we have other sponsors and advertisers. So be sure and check these out, these individuals and businesses out, and that is David Parnell at Palmer's Toyota, Dr. Justin Foster at Foster Chiropractic with Tillman's Corner, and Mamoon Siddiq at Remac Realtors, and McCoy Outdoors, of course. If you would like to advertise your business on Armed Alabama, please give us a call, or you can call the station or email us at Adam at Armed Alabama or the Judge at Armed Alabama. Of course, be sure to check out our Facebook page, Armed Alabama Radio, Twitter at Armed Alabama 106.5, and the YouTube channel, Armed Alabama, is a really good resource for videos and stuff or information regarding concealed carry or law, state law, or even national law.
And the rates are surprisingly affordable. We're trying to ramp it up to go 2 hours in June, and we're about there. So ask us the question about rates. There's no other place where you can target people who are interested in firearms.
All right, Judge, one thing that we talked about earlier was that Supreme Court Justice Tom Parker is going to be in Mobile May the 12th, and that's going to be at the Azalea City Republican Women's Meeting. That's going to be at the Marriott on Airport, and you can email Judy Motlow at JOM56@AOL.com for more information and or to sign up for that meeting.
We'll see you next week on Armed Alabama, Tuesday nights.
Thank you so much for joining us.
San Francisco to do. And I'm proud to be an Okie from Muskogee, a place where even squares can have a ball.
If your spine is in a bind, it's time to be aligned. For 20 years, Dr. Justin Foster has been diagnosing and taking care of spinal problems. Misaligned vertebrae can hurt due to a strain or sprain from an accident, or be injured by repeated use and can lead to a pinched nerve if not fixed. Pinched nerves can